Welcome to Widemindedness with Victoria Ball, the podcast in which I interview expert guests who want to join me in celebrating that life is not black and white. Our society is increasingly divided, and the us versus them mentality seems to dominate our conversations and relationships with others. I believe that life is much richer when we widen our minds to consider multiple opinions and perspectives. So challenge your assumptions and let's become truly wide-minded together. Amanda Bigelow is a food as medicine practitioner, certified health coach, intuitive healer, author, and presenter. She works with high-achieving women, helping them to heal their bodies, get more energy, and create long, healthy, and productive lives. Amanda has had a complex journey with her own health, first diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and then several other health conditions. For many years, she was only able to manage her health with medications. Then she looked beyond conventional medicine and discovered the real cause of her problems and was finally able to start healing. Today, she specialises in healing chronic illnesses, encompassing both physical and emotional health. Amanda lives in Australia and works both there and globally. Hello, Amanda!
Hello, Victoria!
You have widened your mind to look at health and healing differently. Can you tell us more about your own journey?
Okay, well, it's been quite a journey. It didn't really become obvious to me until I was in my late 40s, and I got stiff hands for some reason. I went to the doctor and she said, "I think you've got an autoimmune disease." And I said, "What? What's that?" So this was about 10 years ago. And so we went through all the tests, and then she said, "Here you are. You just need to take these tablets, and you can go to a specialist and find out a bit more. And this will be your life going forward. You'll need these medications for the rest of your life. And, you can find out a bit more about it." And she told me a bit, and then I went away, and it was just like the biggest shock of my life because nothing had really gone wrong. And so I had to just follow along in those footsteps, and that was fine. And I did that for about 8 years. But then I was never really getting better. That was part of the problem. I had all these funny symptoms because it was about a thyroid autoimmune. So the thyroid's responsible for many functions in the body, and things like hair falls out, all kinds of funny things happen in your body. And I guess I went to lots of different practitioners, acupuncturists, massage, all kinds of helping, healing modalities to help me sort of, help my body really cope with it all. And I guess I went to lots of different doctors, spent a lot of money, and didn't really get to heal. And it was only in about 2016 where I stumbled upon, well, first of all, I did a lot of study in the healing arts myself, and then I stumbled on some ways of doing it, which was more what I'd call modern health for the 21st century, which is using very specific foods for very specific conditions. So when I had the autoimmune, that wasn't the only thing I got. I had other things like adrenal health issues because that goes with the autoimmune at times. You can get really run down in your adrenals, and you can also get quite stressed. So it's really about all the body's systems playing up at various different times and putting up with that. So I was determined that I really needed to become the practitioner that I really needed, which was one that could actually help me to heal. And none of them really could do that. They could say, "Well, we can help you manage your autoimmune, but that's really the best we can do." So I wasn't going to take no for an answer. I knew that somewhere on the planet there'd be people who knew how to heal. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's a difficult journey, but you learn a lot, you grow a lot. And I grew because I went from being an environmental specialist about solving environmental problems on the planet to solving health problems on the planet. And I just swapped and got into that because that was what I needed. And I thought, well, I'm going to become that person that can help others like I needed that help.
Wow, and now you are that person that people go to. You describe yourself as a food as medicine practitioner, and you've alluded to it there in your story. Can you just tell us, how does food as medicine actually work, and what kind of conditions can you help people with?
A lot of conditions, particularly chronic health, which is the definition of chronic health is really any kind of symptom that you might have that is chronic, so it doesn't go away. It's there, either comes back. It can be a skin condition, it can be an autoimmune, it can be a cancer, it can be anything that's chronic and continues throughout your life. And so we've got lots of different protocols, I suppose you'd call them, or ways of healing very particular things. Like, for example, people who have migraines. I know exactly how to help people with that. I know how to help people with autoimmunes, and there's many of them, and they just keep inventing more and more names for them.
Mm.
So they're growing. And then there's all kinds of funny things that most people wouldn't have heard of before. And then there's the really, really, really serious ones, and that can bring about death, like Parkinson's and other things like that, which are pretty serious. So it all, it's a little bit in a growth spurt. Like, it's actually, we're not solving the problems in medical science around chronic health. So I think what modern health really is today is it's all of the research and it's all the science and the doctors doing everything they can. Plus, next to that is this more natural way of healing the body, which doesn't involve medications, but uses specific foods for specific illnesses and conditions, specific herbs, which are really powerful as well, and also specific supplements, like there's supplements for immunity, and they're really important today. So I've been helping a lot of people to build a strong, healthy immune system if it's a bit weak or if they want to just boost it. And that's really with foods, very specific foods, and very specific supplements that go with that. I can tell you what two of the main ones are, and everyone would know that vitamin C is really important daily if you want to have a strong immune system, and I take it daily and always will. And also zinc, because we don't have zinc in our soil anymore, not in this country anyway, and I'm pretty sure it's worldwide, but we've lost soil's benefits these days, and so zinc's not there, and we're not getting zinc into our bodies, and zinc's really, really powerful for the immune system.
And am I right in thinking that zinc helps the uptake of a lot of other vitamins and minerals as well?
Yes, it can, exactly. And
Mhm.
so does vitamin B12, which is, it helps you to methylate, which is exactly what you just said. Methylation is the uptake of the vitamins, the minerals, and the enzymes, and all the things that make you function the way you should.
Do you feel in your health that you have been able to not only ditch the medications, but that you feel stronger and healthier in the sort of most, if you like, wide-minded sense?
Yes, I feel like I'm getting younger because I'm plant based. I don't eat any animal products, so I'm plant based, and I wasn't always like that. And I became that way because that's where most of the healing foods are. They're in the plants of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and so forth. And I think I eat a lot of greens, and they do look after your skin. So I feel like in many ways I've got more youthfulness about me as well. I don't know if I'm looking in the mirror correctly. No, I do look after my body, and I do the best that I can. And it's just part of life to be, I guess, either preventative or in a healing state. And it's not that sometimes I can go downhill a bit and I need to, if I get stressed, if I'm too busy or anything's worrying me, I can get stressed. So I have to really observe that and watch that. So it's not like life is perfect. It's never perfect for anybody. But I still have to look after myself better than I ever have.
I'm going to jump into my conversation with Amanda here to remind you to please rate and review this podcast wherever you listen to it. Also, you can find more content on Facebook and Instagram at Widemindedness Victoria Ball, and sign up to my monthly newsletter at victoria-ball.com. So health is a field that is really full of strong opinions, as you will know better than me or our listeners. Have you been challenged by those who subscribe to traditional medicine and who hold views that are different from yours? And how have you gone about responding to them and their opinions?
Yeah, it's quite funny. I was thinking about that. What I could say is that my family, my immediate siblings, have been probably the biggest critics of my path. Because they're very traditional in that they just go to doctors, and that's where all the knowledge is in their ideas, which is great. Doctors are essential. I mean, I had a doctor that helped me. She was a functional medicine doctor, and she's the one that guided me to go off my medication. So I didn't just do it out of thin air. I did it with the help of someone who understood my journey and what I wanted to achieve and was supportive. So there's lots of different doctors you can go to. There's a lot more functional nutrition doctors or functional medicine doctors that are coming into this more modern way of healing where you've got a collaboration with the doctor. Like I collaborated with her and we both talked through what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, and it was exactly that, a collaboration. And that I would say, oh, okay, I'll back that up with these foods because I know that's going to help with what we're doing now. And she would say, okay, and we'll do these tests and we'll make sure we get the right tests for you, exactly. And so it would go like that. And so that's the sort of modern health that I think we need today. We need everybody to help. We need doctors, we need all the other healing practitioners, and we need health coaches, and we need people who are a bit different, like me. And they're becoming more, I guess, popular around now. That people want they want more natural ways of being able to take control of their own health and doing it with food.
Hmm. You mentioned the word doctor there. We're so familiar with that word doctor and what we understand by it. I feel that the words healer and healing are often weighed down by mystical or supernatural connotations that actually can become quite negative. And obviously, when we're sick, we are looking to be healed. But have you encountered any prejudice when you use words like healer?
Not that I'm really aware of. I would say that people, when they read on my website or anything on Instagram or whatever, they might they might think that it's a bit different, but I don't really hear about that from anybody. But when I talk to women, I mean, I mostly work with women, and they're often in their age of, between 45 and 60, because that's when things actually start to go wrong in that age group. It's a more common age group for things happening. And when I talk to women, it's that have these conditions, it's almost like a relief to know that somebody can take them, hold their hand, and take them and support them with empathy and plenty of time. I give people a lot of my time to work through their healing journey. And I think that the people who come to me or who I tend to work with want that kind of experience. They want empathy. They want someone who understands them, understands what they're going through. They want someone who can say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to um, we're going to work on this because that's your priority and that's what's important first. And then we're going to go to the next thing. And then over 6 months, we'll work through all of the symptoms and all of the causes that are, giving you all these problems. And then you will be healed. And it'll take this much time and it'll require you to be involved. It's not like you're going to go into a doctor and get the medications and expect something that you just take as a tablet is going to heal you, because invariably it doesn't. It just helps you to manage what you've got. So we have the power in our hands to simply learn more about how the body works, about the systems and how they're all interacting throughout the body, and learn a bit more about those. And then we become our own health advocate. So I think it's becoming a lot more popular for people to want that kind of modern health.
And as you say there, you're looking at health and wellness in a very holistic sense. Now, that word's been overused, but I really mean it in its truest sense of widening our mind to consider how various different parts might be interconnected and explicable only by reference to the whole. That's obviously something that chimes with you.
Nature has its own systems and our body has systems, and none of them are top down. There's no boss giving instructions down a hierarchy. It's all interconnected, and every part of each of those systems is working for the whole system to operate to the best of its ability. And that is why us and nature are so related in a way, is that we don't have top down systems. We have systems that are they're genius systems. They really are. We don't really know enough about our own bodies, and we don't know enough about nature and the systems and how marvelous and incredible they really are. There is a trend back to nature.
So, how does a consultation with you work? What are the questions that you ask someone?
Well, I guess the first thing is to just listen and to be supportive. Their emotional state is always really important. And so it's always about body and emotional health. And then we just talk about the root cause. And when we know the root cause, that's 50% of the healing done. For example, one of the most prominent root causes of over 200 symptoms in the body is the liver, because we're living in a really industrialized world now. It's just got more and more industrialized as it's gone on since the 1800s. And right now, our bodies are just absorbing so many different toxins and poisons and pollutants and air fresheners and all of those sort of things, and medications and pharmaceuticals, and they all go into the liver, and livers are struggling.
You're currently working on your new book about healing and building resilience in dynamic times. What are you defining as dynamic times, and why is healing particularly important in them?
There are many things that hurt. We break arms, we fall over, we do all kinds of things to our bodies. So I don't think anybody escapes needing to heal something in their bodies, at some point. So it's just part of being alive, is the need to heal, whether it be an emotional issue or a physical one. Now, growing, which is the other part of my body, the dynamic part of it, is that yes, we need to heal, we can work with that. And then another arm of that is to actually grow. And you can move from being someone who's healing, become healed, and then to grow into being adaptable for dynamic times. And what I mean by dynamic times is times that are constantly changing, and we don't really know what's going to happen next. We've had fires, we've got climate issues, we've got biodiversity issues, ocean acidification and plastics. So it's becoming more apparent to people that things just aren't really working too well on the planet. So we need to start moving with what's happening, and we need to become adaptable. And a pandemic is probably one of the hardest things that could have happened right now. And so I my next book that I'm working on at the moment is all about how we can grow to be fit, to be alive in dynamic times. And that includes a lot of things like um, increasing your intuition, because it's really hard to walk around and deal with all of these things that are coming at you on the news or wherever you're talking to people. There's just so much mixed up stuff, and you can lose yourself in that. So, intuition about what's right for you and how to go about that is really important. And then I really want to help people with understanding those systems that we just talked about, nature and us, I'd really like to put some foresight into it, strategic foresight, which I've been involved in my past as well, and critical thinking and empathy, and also, interconnectedness. I think that is one of the things that can really be explored a lot, because we're we are so interconnected, and this pandemic is really showing us just how interconnected we are. And I guess nature is the greatest healer, so that's a very big part of the growing part of my book would be around nature, the healer. And also, a lot of people are starting to go back to the idea of local, and doing things locally is really important, and growing food. So, I've also been a horticulturalist, so I grow my food, and I'd like to see that develop a lot more as well.
Fascinating, and let's hope that people do take out the positive changes from this period. Finally, I'd like to ask you to sum up in a couple of lines if wide-mindedness is important for you, and if so, why?
It is absolutely important for me, and it really began for me. There's a very specific time, and it was when I was 13, and I just made a statement to myself. It was very clear that my life is going to be about learning and growing. So by doing that, I've just, declared in myself at the age of 13 that I wanted to be curious, I wanted to learn and grow, and I wanted it to be far reaching. And that's what I have done and will continue to do.
Amanda, thank you so much for joining me. It has been an absolute pleasure. The way you look at health in a holistic sense, bringing together health and nature, the interconnectedness not only of our bodies, but us and the world around us, is so enlightening. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it greatly.
I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Widemindedness with Victoria Ball. Help others learn about it by rating, reviewing, and subscribing. For more great wide-minded content, follow @Widemindedness Victoria Ball on Instagram, @Widemindedness on Twitter, and sign up to the monthly newsletter at victoria-ball.com.